All right, so here we are in GR, and I got sound files set up for the UMP40. Now I'm going to show you how I create my sound files, but just to give you a quick demonstration, um, it's working, right? And I stripped this from a YouTube video, so I'm going to actually show you the process of doing that and going through the whole process and making it sound a little bit better than the YouTube video, perhaps, and more specifically for the game, and also what kind of file formats to use and how to set them up in the game itself. So it's a little bit of a lengthy process, but here you can see um, we actually have this video. This guy is shooting a UMP40. And sometimes it can be a little hard to strip a sound from a video because he's plinking right now off these metal targets. And but he does miss one and it hits the dirt behind it, which is a little bit better for me.
All right.
And you also want to kind of find videos that sometimes have the automatic fire as well. So those are pretty decent sounds right there. So I'm going to pause it right before it starts. Now we're going to use a program called Audacity, and we're going to go ahead and load that up. You should be able to do this on your computer. Not everybody can. Sometimes their sound cards won't let them, but just change it to Windows WASAPI, and you're going to record instead of microphones, speakers, so you can just record from the video or what your desktop hears anyways. You can do two channels if you want to record in stereo, or you can do mono. Now Ghost Recon's going to want to use mono and not stereo. So you can record in mono. I'm going to do stereo just for now, just to show you how to convert a stereo file into a mono file. It's really not that hard. You don't necessarily even have to really convert it, but so this is all set up. I'm going to click back a little bit, click play, come over here and hit record. All right. And so now that he's done shooting, and we got 6 or so shots here, I really want to find ones that just have like a nice peak to them, but also don't have too much going on after it. So this one looks pretty nice actually. So I'm going to highlight it and just click play by hitting the space bar. That's pretty good. I don't really know if I want to use anything else, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, select everything, and press Control V and paste. So now we have this going on, this number. Oh, what is it? What did it do that for? Like it cut it or something. So where is it at? This one. So I'm going to copy it, Control C. I can just exit the track, press Control V, and it'll paste it in. Zoom in a little bit on it. One thing I do want to do is cut pretty close right to the start of it. So delete that, and we should end up with this. All right, so that's a pretty decent sound. Now, what I really want to do is amplify it as much as possible. Now, it's kind of up to you on how you're going to modify these sounds. I usually just start with like an amplify. If you amplify too much, it's not going to let you. If you allow clipping, it will. Personally, I won't clip the sound, so I leave that unchecked, and then I just crank it up as high as I possibly can before it says I can't do it no more. So right there, amplification, 0.52, about as good as it's going to get. It's all amplified a little bit. I do like to go in and play with the graphic equalizer, and a lot of times I'll just try different things. You can go to manage factory presets. You can do like a bass boost, a treble boost. You can certainly create your own presets. So I got this gunshot preset here, and I create something like this. You just run through it, click around, and move these up and down. You can preview it real quick. See how it comes out. You can see how the equalization kind of makes it sound a little bit different. So if I wanted to bump all the bass up, I'm just going to be kind of sloppy with it. I can do that. Maybe certain parts right here I don't want to hear as much. You see how it changes the sound around? Maybe I want to bump up the midtones a little bit with the bass. So yeah, you can get some pretty different results out of it. What I would do is just simply create some curves real nice and smooth so that it looks good, it sounds good. Click OK. Now you can see how it amplifies everything up a little bit more, and it makes it look pretty nice. All right. You can add things like echo or whatever you want. What I usually like to do is right towards after the initial shot, I'll highlight it, I'll do an effect, I'll do a fade out. And that just kind of cleans it up so that it fades out a little bit nicer, in my opinion. So I like that a lot. All right. And this is just a single shot, which is fine. I'm going to copy it. There's certainly a lot more you can do when it comes to making these sound really good, such as like finding other gunshot noises and then combining them together. So you might have some bass or clunkiness that's from a different sound. You can always combine tracks together. The way that works is you just paste in your other track and then make your modifications, and you can play them together. And then what you'll end up doing is you'll just do, you'll mix them, mix and render. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Tracks, mix, and you'll mix and render them if it'll let me. I don't know why it's not letting me, but select them all, I guess. Select the tracks, mix and render, and it'll combine them together. So there you go. That's that for that. We're not doing that though. What we are going to do is, because it's a stereo track, for whatever reason, GR likes mono a lot more. So we're going to click up here, this little button. We're going to do split stereo track, or we can split stereo track to mono. So we're going to split the mono. All right. And that's all I do. I'm not touching it anymore after that. I'm just splitting it down to mono. And what we're going to do is export it as a WAV file. And you can export it as a signed 32, signed 24, signed 16, or unsigned 8-bit. It's up to you. 32 bits, kind of the maximum that GR can handle. And it seems to work pretty well. So I'm going to name this PZ_UMP40, and I'm going to put single shot, so SS right there, and save it on my desktop. It says this is a mono track, so we're going to mix it down. So just click OK, OK, and it's pretty much done. Now, here's where it gets fun. I'm going to exit all that real quick and import audio. I'm going to import that audio track. And you can see now that it's just one track instead of two, which is pretty nice. I can actually take this and copy it. Now, a UMP40 has a rate of fire of, shoot, I don't even remember, 600 rounds per minute. So it's going to be about 10, every 10th of a second it's going to shoot. So really simple and really easy. You have these little counters down here, and you can use your mouse wheel to kind of get through it or click on them. And so this is the start section, this is the end section, and all we got to do is go to the next section here, bump it up to 0.1, you'll see it selects to there. If we tried to paste right now, it's not going to do anything. Actually, you should be modifying this side over here, and because that's where you need to have those both kind of line up so it creates a solid line. Press Control V. Whoop, 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 whoop. Why is it doing that? Let's zero these out real quick. Let's zero them both out and just start here. Okay, Control V. All right. And it does this number, but here's a little bit of a problem with this. You see that big gap right there? I did not plan to do that. So let's get that gap out of here. That's going to be the start right here. And we're going to delete it. Okay, so now it's a little bit more snappy at the beginning. I'm going to re-export this real quick. Export audio as wave. Just replace the file we just had. Now I'm going to copy it. We're going to bump it up to 0.1 here. Okay. Zero all those out real quick, and then 0.1. Control V. Oh, it's not come on now. Come on now. I know you can do it. 0.1. There we go. Oh, I was zoomed in way too much. So we're going to do 0.1 and 0.2. And we're going to paste. And what ends up happening when you paste, for whatever reason, because you're splitting the gunshot there with the recoil at the end, creates this little duplicate towards the back. Perfectly fine. Export it after you delete it. And we're going to export the same file pretty much, except we're going to put TS for 3-shot. Okay. And that's going to be my 3-shot file. Now, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I know for a fact that I need to keep doing this. So we're going to zero it all back out real quick. Just get it zeroed out. It's easier that way. I'm going to bump the numbers up here. So I'm going to put in another one. Whoops. Whoops. 0.3. Okay, so at 0.3, we're going to hit paste. At 0.4, paste. 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. Okay, so that's a little bit overkill, but basically the way this works is that you want to be able to get into the gunfire loop, right? And somewhere in that loop, you want to be able to go backwards. So you just kind of scroll up to a certain point, go backwards, hit backspace, or hit delete. It'll let me. Why are you not letting me delete? What's going on here? So edit, delete, Control K, I guess. I thought delete key works, but whatever. And now we got to do that kind of again, except we're going to go up. So we're going to go up to the last one here. That's the last shot that's going to be fired. And if I play from here forward, you'll see it does that number. It's like a last gunshot. So that's good because we want to take all of this, copy it real quick. We're just copying it. And what we're going to end up doing is going back forward. And if you go to the next section, it's a little bit too late. What I like to do here, and I think is best, is that this gunshot ends right around here. So usually I just clip it and I'll delete everything else before it. So it should sound like this. Oop. Zoom out real quick. Make sure I get rid of that little section there. I didn't know that was there. So it should sound like this now. Almost like a gunshot. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit where it drops and comes back up. Like right where it comes back up. Sometimes you can catch them in little areas like that. Should have a little snap to it almost. But it shouldn't be a full gunshot. Like that. Like a half shot almost. Just right after the main bang. So when that's done, you can actually export this. I'm going to export it as a WAV file. We're going to call this one RC, and that stands for recoil. That's just basically like the end of the gunshot, and you know it's over. And so, you know, we pretty much what's going on here is if you were to like drop a single shot, single shot, single shot, what ends up happening is it's going to have like an amplifying effect. So it's going to be louder or quieter to louder. And then it's going to be very repetitive sounding, where you can hear everything going louder to quieter to louder, quieter to louder every time with your sustained fire, your automatic fire. By creating so many duplicates, it cancels that out after a while. And what ends up happening is you get a nice, even, solid burst fire. So it should sound like this. This is what we copied earlier. Remember, that's why I said to copy it. So it just sounds like automatic fire. Now, this is going to sound not so great in game. I'm going to be honest. Repeating the fire over and over and over and over again with the same exact sound really it loses character. So that's why I was saying, when you find a video, see if you can find a video with sustained fire in it, where they're doing full automatic fire. And because you should be able to pick up on where each gunshot starts and stops, if you look at this wave file close enough, you'll be able to match kind of what repeats. So like here's a repeat, right? And so that'll happen over and over and over again in the clip of the audio. So you'll be able to actually pull out machine gun fire from audio clips like this and be able to make them repeat over and over and sound really, really good. But since we're not doing that right now, I'm going to go ahead and export this out and put this under SF for sustained fire. Still doing 32-bit here. So now we have ripped sound from YouTube. We're going to go into my mod folder. Right now I have it all set up, but I'm actually going to delete it and recreate it just to prove a point here. Type in sound. You need a sound folder. You need to drop these weapon sounds into that sound folder. Okay, you can see we got sustained single shot, 3-shot, recoil, and sustained fire. Okay, in your equipment folder, your gun file, you need to go down to these 2 lines here, and you need to type in the name of your sound files. So PZ for 1 round, rounds per pool 1. You know, put PZ underscore your gun file. Anyways, I put PZ underscore UMP40 single shot. So you can see in the sound folder, PZ UMP40 underscore single shot. So, and then I'd have the sustained fire start sound and the end sound. And that's important. That recoil goes at the end. Sustained fire goes at the beginning. If you had a 3-round burst for your weapon, you would actually have another line here, and it would look pretty much the same thing, I'm actually going to set it up so we can test the 3-round burst. But you're going to do selective fire, selective option rate of fire, and we need to lower it a little bit. So it's 600 rounds per minute. Okay. And rounds per pool is going to be 3. And if we got to change this one to 3-shot. So TS. You can actually save that. Exit it. But we're not done yet. We still have a little bit more to do. We are done with the audio files for now. We have to go to our GR folder. We have to load up Igor. And we're going to set up the sound files so that they'll work in game. So we're going to go to Tools, Sound Volume Editor, and right now it's using Island Thunder's volume or sounds. So we're going to select Sound folder, go over to our mod folder, click on our sound folder, and you'll see that they're all yellow. It says no entry in file. So what we're going to do is actually click reconcile, and you'll see they all turn green, but they're really not set up yet. There's a couple things we need to change. So full volume at how many meters? This is going to be how loud it plays at 100%. So at 12 meters, it'll be 100% loud. All right. The absolute roll off is when the sound fades out. So at 400 meters, if the sound fully fades out, You know, anything past 400 meters won't be able to hear it. Now, so the level size of Ghost Recon is 400 meters. So you should, in theory, be able to hear gunshots from one side of the map to the other, just faintly, if at all. But that's not really how it works, to be honest. So, you know, bumping it up to 600 meters or 800 meters, you'll definitely get more of that effect. The stop attenuation is at 2,000 meters. I don't know how much that actually affects anything, to be honest. Volume's at 1. Okay, no biggie. It doesn't need to be at anything more. You can do this for each individual sound and press apply, or you can kind of go through all of these, select them all, and do like a batch. So select one, hold shift, select them, do full volume at 12, absolute roll off at 400. Just click apply and reconcile, apply. Make sure they're green, reconciled, we're good. We can exit the editor. Now let's jump into GR and see how they sound on a level real quick. It should work just fine. If they don't, it probably means I saved something wrong. So we're gonna go to here, just do firefight, assign some characters with a UMP on with them. And once that's said and done, let's see if it works. Oh shoot, we're already done? oh, we are getting slaughtered. I guess he was like right next to us or something. Okay. 3-round burst. Where is this guy? Oh, he's in front of the rock. Can't even see him. So the sustained fire is going to sound pretty repetitive. Not horrible, but you know, not great either. And then that the recoil to it has a little bit of too much of a sudden start to it. Like the little echo in the atmosphere, in my opinion. These are things you can always think about and change later. Overall, it's not bad. I mean, it's from an audio recording, and you know, but there's some things you could do to spice that sound up even further. Especially like full auto, because full auto in a real rifle or a real submachine gun, usually they have different kind of mechanisms that make them fire, so they actually do have a little bit of timing variation to them. So they won't always fire exactly at the same time. It'll be like round 1 fires at a certain time, and then the round 2 will fire just a little tiny bit slower. And it's because of the mechanics behind it. And then you'll also have different reverberations through the atmosphere, so you'll have a little bit of weird echoes as you're firing on it full auto. But overall, you know, this is what a lot of guys do for their mods, where they just repeat the sound over and over. And there's nothing wrong with that. It certainly works. And,
look out!
Oh, shoot. You guys were in my way. No. Alright, so we're just going to keep getting slaughtered here, but just one last side note here. When you do this, look at the bit rate. I'm extremely high right now. Ghost Recon, you know, it doesn't require, you know, the original game didn't come with really high detailed sounds. It really didn't. Like it, I mean, they were okay, but they're like 22. See, I'll give you an example real quick. So just this single shot here. Take a look at the settings I'm using. These are how you change your settings right here. We split it down to mono. Basically, when we exported it, what it did is it took all that and it mixed these two tracks together, mixed and rendered them. The project rate's at 44,100. GR, the sounds that shipped with it, we're at 22,050. And we're at 44,100 now, so that's a good thing. But also format 32-bit float. When we export this as a WAV file, You know, I'm using the pretty much the highest setting that will work in GR, so 32-bit PCM. You can use 24. These are going to lower your bit rates on your files, and to be honest, lowering the bit rate doesn't really matter all that much. They still sound pretty good. Even the unsigned 8-bit PCM sounds pretty good. So, you know, these are really the top 4 that you really want to focus on. So yeah, you can go as high as you want, but you really don't have to. I mean, there's no reason that you shouldn't or shouldn't have to, because there's the file size for like maybe music and things like that is a little bit more important, but the file size for you know, just some gunshots, like it's only 255 kilobytes, so it's not a big deal. But the music files would add up pretty quick at 1411. So maybe bumping them down to, you know, 16-bit or 8-bit might be a little bit better. That'll save you some file size. Overall, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed watching how to make some weapon sounds and how to get them to work on your weapons in game as well. Really not that hard, and I enjoy this. This is like a guilty pleasure of mine, is just mixing sounds, and it's relaxing to me. So nonetheless, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.